Somehow we made it back to another Saturday morning. We have our project. Welcome, welcome, one and all. The cats are all sleeping, so we're not going to snack. If somebody decides to show up, then we'll have snackies, but we're not going to push it because little man's tucked in on the couch. Loki's under his favorite chair, and oh, scratch that. Loki is not under his favorite couch chair. You coming? he hears me say welcome, and he says, "Mom, where's the snacks? Where's the snacks? Oh!" Scratch that. And then little man came running as well. All right. I guess snacks are going to be had. Snackies. We need snackies. Yeah? Would you like to say something for your fans? Do you have a comment? Do you have a comment? Would you like to say something? Oh, do you have a comment? Give me all the snacks. Why are you holding out on me? Give me the snacks now. Oh, okay, Free. Okay. Here, Free. No, you get over here. All right. Free-Free-Free got snacks. Boys have got snacks. Come on. Snack time. Because you can't start the show on an empty stomach. Oh, okay. This next one's for little man. Come on, Bruiser. Oh. Did you get enough Hoovers? Okay. One more round. We're almost done with snacks. We're almost done with snack time. Loki, you're stealing the snacks. Oops. Okay. All right. Snacks have been had. Let me grab this paper. We're going to eat them. Okay. You stealing my chair now? You stealing the spot? I know, there's still a gremlin in my computer. Tried to get the Phillips heads to pop up the back, and it wasn't working. I'm gonna have to call a guy. I'm gonna have to call a guy to do a thing. Because me complaining about it every week is not going to get me anywhere. You know, I uncovered the machine mostly so I could have a bigger workspace, but after the last time, dry off the cat slobber. Okay, oh, and we just flipped our stuff overboard. Oh, did I? Welcome to the circus. I'm your host, Phoenix Electra. I do know how to run a show sometimes. Ay. I'm forgetting how to run my own show. But last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I thought I was going to sew this project on the machine, and I did not enjoy that experience. So we're going to hand stitch it. And I thought that would be a great opportunity to review some basic sewing skills. I know some folks around who pop around, who hang out in the tent, are very experienced, hugely, massively experienced and talented sewers. But I also know that there's some folks who are not. So, in attempt to bring sewing to the masses, I thought we would practice some basic skills. I had started this series actually going through one of the old sewing manuals, but I don't think those streams made it over to Rumble. And once the Internet Archive is back, we can actually go back through the book, but the archive is down. So where should we start? At the beginning. What do you need for basic sewing? You need some thread, some type of snips, or scissors for trimming said thread, and a needle. This one, I should probably pick a slightly smaller one. One's a little chunky. You might want a slightly finer one. But my pincushion. Oh, is that the one? This is one where I managed to break the eye of the needle. Oh, this one might be fine. Okay, so we have our needle. And one might think that getting started with your thread is just like you cut a section and thread the needle. However, there's actually a correct way and a right way and a wrong way to thread your needles. And until I went through the manual, it makes complete sense, but many times have been doing it wrong. So it's wound on the spool in a particular direction, so as it goes through, the fibers of the thread have a way that they sew nicely or a way that they are prone to getting tangled. So to prevent that, with the thread still attached to the spool, we are going to thread the needle. And we were very lucky that we got it threaded the first time. So from here, I'm going to take a length, I can't really see, but I'm going to hold the needle in one hand, and I'm going to go just over from one arm's length to past the shoulder. And that is a reasonable length. If you cut your thread too long, you are asking for things to get knotted or pulled or something funny to happen. We're just going to double this over. So we're going to sew with just a single length of thread. When you're sewing garment, different things, sometimes folks will put a knot, or you can sew without a knot. It completely depends on what you're doing. Yeah, it completely depends on what you're doing. If you're going to do a knot, with your non-dominant hand, I'm going to pinch the cut end between my index and thumb. I'm going to wrap the thread around my index finger so that it crosses over. I'm going to take our thumb and roll and roll that section. Now we've created a little knot. Brilliant. Now you can sew anything. We have thread, we have needle, we have a knot. We are winning at sewing. Oh, this might not be I really need to. Okay. And I'm going to flip this over because we're using I had a thread already started. Okay. And some folks like to have a thimble of some type or not, kind of personal preference. But I'm sewing from the back because I can see where my tracing, I'm pointing to the window in front of me that has the paper copy. So, did we? I think we're not locked up. Okay, everything's being funny this morning. The weekends are always funny. I turn my computer on, we're plugged in, and it says you have no internet access. I'm like, I should have 2 points of internet. So I do need to. I'll just take that. All right. So I'm working from the back side, and I have this laid flat on my cutting mat just to have a surface. I was sewing over a pillow, and I think that's making the fabric a little squiggles. So now that we have our needle, thread, and we're attached, we're just going to go about 2 millimeters from the previous stitch. We're going to pierce down, we're going to pick up, and with you can do the same thing on the opposite hand and pull. Now you made a stitch. Brilliant. This is called a running stitch. I can pierce a little section, make a little like 2-3 millimeter bites, and have 2. So I can do as many little stitches at a time as I feel competent, comfortable, or that makes sense. This is the most basic of the sewing stitches is the running stitch. It's not necessarily for garments the most secure of the stitches, but it's quick and it does the job. If you do longer chunks, like 1/2 inch, they call that a basting stitch, which is a quick way to attach 2 things, some fabrics together before you go through and do your fancier and more durable stitchings. So I can clip that section and we can have sewing basics 101. Or if I listen back and the audio is terrible, then put the battery in my camera. No, I don't even need to. I can just record this without the computer making noise in the background. Hopefully we can just clip it good. Yeah, having it on the flat surface is working. I like that. Sewing on the pillow that curves things. So if you use the thimble, you can see here. I'm going to make my bite, use my opposite hand, and then just gently push on the eye of the needle so you can pull it through. And I'm just following the lines. And this is an art wall hanging, not meant to really be wandered or take a lot of heavy tension, so I'm not worried about doing a very sturdy stitch on this. It didn't really leave much for seam allowance, and also, yeah, so I'll show you when we get around what we're going to do next. We're just going to do some stitching. I went to a great dance party yesterday with Synth Tracks, aka DJ Jesus. Starting off spooky season spectacularly. It was great. I have to introduce the folks to the great legend that is Henry Hall. Just consulting the reference image. Still have not found the rest of the descriptions for this, but we'll just make it up as we go along and hopefully it looks not terribly unaesthetically pleasing. Wow, we are crushing it. around this section. I've just got my hinge underneath on the back side, so I can work around this thinner. For all you folks who don't know how to sew, you can find yourself a little thread, a needle, and practice threading your needle for the thread in the appropriate direction, and then tying a knot. Just that easy. Oh, I know, I thought for a hot second that we would do the sewing lesson like somewhere in, but I was like, wait, we might as well just start at the beginning of the show. I don't know where to clip it from. So I'm just gonna turn this like oh my god. Might have to drag out an old computer. And I'm just stitching around the lines that I traced on that interfacing. I numbered most of them to coordinate with the key. And if things are too big, my camera's deciding to freeze. Is that bad on the rumbles too? Just make sure we are muted here. Oh, gosh. Oh, it is stuck. I'm looking terrible. Awesome. And now we're caught up. What is going on? Oh, the sweet sounds of the gremlin in the computer. Gremlin in the phone. Wow. That's not very aesthetically pleasing to me. What they're working. Oops. Okay, so now we just have a pretty short length that fell off of the needle. Use this up or you thread it, and then we'll tie a knot to end this one. Okay. So one way to do a knot is we're going to take another bite. We're going to pull the needle through, and I like to go with the eye of the needle just back through that little hole that we had made. So it's like making a stitch, but instead of, before we pull it all the way taut, we're going to just shove it back through, pull it tight, and snip off the end. And lucky us, we have a new thread already waiting. I'll just find Ruby. Uh, just that easy. Just little stitches. You don't need a big fancy machine to sew. If you have thread and a needle, you can do it. So next week, we will sew a button. So fun about that is another super helpful basic skill. Favorite winter jacket maybe mending. And your button-up blouse shirt from the button. We'll go over how to fix that. It's super straightforward. And even if folks don't want to, not everybody wants to make a whole thing, but knowing how to do the basics will get you very far. We need new clothes, and we can just fix. Sometimes we just need a little fix here or there. It's not that scary. I'm done with this section, and then I will go through and we'll trim it close because I went for a couple of these bigger areas and big piece. For some of the littler sections, we'll just leave them larger fabric set pieces and sew on top of it, which is also why we're sewing from the back. Because so the big sections and then pin here, there's this little section, Indian Gardens, so I can just pin it and then sew around and trim it close. I don't have to do all this fussy cutting. We can be close enough for jazz. It will be good enough. If you're going to do a couple stitches, you can, with your middle or index finger underneath the fabric, go in a bite, and you just kind of rock it along your fingers with the piece of thimble as an anchor, and then we can do a couple of running stitches. And that's also when folks quilt by hand, they kind of do that same, use their thimble, this rocking. You just rock the needle, take a little bite, go back in, another bite. Some folks will do 10 or 15 little bites before they pull the thread through. Sometimes I just do a couple. It just depends. Sometimes there's a right way and sometimes there's what makes sense. maybe we'll do that little garden section next. I got another section now that we're just about at the end here. Oh no, we're super exciting today. Not the flashiest live stream on that. Oh, we're just gonna do our little knot right here. Cool. Trim. We'll go and do another knot. So just okay, knot, finger, thumb, a little tail. Wrap the main thread around, but you've got a little X. Take your thumb and roll it away. Roll your thumb away for you. You'll have this little loop. And I'm just gonna pull. Well, we have a new knot. All right, let's. Pick. Let's see here. So we just used this one, so I want something different. This kind of use this one as our garden. Sure. I'm going to just, you know, I don't want to waste too. I mean, it's not like don't have reels of fabric. All right, so we've got it laid down. We're going to take our pin to hold it in place. And we're just going to, we've already sewed around it from the base fabric, but we're just going to follow that line again. And then we'll trim it back, the excess from the other fabric. Okay. So this piece, let's see. Just going to rotate things around. There we go. We've got a knot. I'm just holding everything flat. Never mind, I'm just going to hold the sandwich up. I realize my arm is in the way. We'll take our white. There, that's slightly less in the way. Kind of like paint by numbers, but with fabric and thread. Actually, this really is paint by numbers. It's been a while since I've done one of those kits. Shoot, probably could have done a couple more bites, but that's fine. I'll like swivel. Then we'll trim it close. And I'm just going to leave the raw edges. I didn't tuck over. Like I said earlier, this is for aesthetics and not. And that is its function, is to be beautiful. Definitely not how I would necessarily sew a garment that I wanted longevity out of. I'm just going right next to the previous line of stitches. Just do a couple more pieces. I'll probably take this and do sections during morning coffee and story hour. If I only do this on live streams, it will take too long, and I need this to be done. There's embroidery to do. We got all sorts of. Oh, got caught on the pin. I was like, why is this not? doing what I'm asking it to. Yeah, tonight I will cut the panels. Let's sew a new skirt tomorrow. We'll do a spooky paneled skirt. I have the fabrics already picked out. Just need to cut them and pick out trim. And I'll do it tonight just in case things get cut on the bias, so I can let the hems let it drop overnight. Oh, this needle's a little chunky. Got a little chunkers. Oh. I probably don't need the pin anymore. I think we've got it attached enough that it's not going to try to be shifty on us. I like that other needle better. It's just a little bit finer. Oh, this one was going to be a little extra chunk. Let's switch our needles real quick here. When you're starting out, needle size doesn't necessarily matter, but for the finer the thicker the material, sometimes you need a chunkier needle, and if you're sewing with something very delicate, a more slender teach needle will mar the fabric less. Oh, of course, I can't get the needle threaded now. I know, if I'm not talking and I'm just staring at the needle and I put on the music, this is like super, super stellar, the bestest internet content. Like watching paint dry over here. There we go. How's that? Alright, we are back in stitches now. I don't know why I bothered to stitch around this section at first. Oh, whatever. Doesn't matter. Too late now. Once we get this section done, we'll flip it over and do a smidgers of fussy cutting. I'll probably leave like a scant quarter of an inch, not even, no, like a scant eighth of an inch. We'll get super close to the stitching line, but not right on top of it. Right, we're coming around the mountain. We're coming around the mountain. She comes. She comes around the mountain. She Let's see if I can just do a quick little end here to get to the end. Rifles, and we're just gonna wrap the needle. And we'll push with our thimble there. There we go. There. And we'll tie a knot. I'm gonna pull through, leave just a little loop, and come back through it. Now we are secured. And trim close. Stick our needle in our pin cushion so we don't lose it. Flip this over. So there's the spot that we just trimmed. Your scissors and carefully. So I guess technically we're doing like a form of applique, so we're just sewing pieces on top of other pieces. I'm just taking little snips with the scissors because I wanted to move my hand not to cram up close to the stitch line, but we don't want to cut through our stitch line. That is not ideal. So there's the stitch line. And I'm just trimming close but not through. Just yeah, and then come back and this little squiggle. I was thinking if I was gonna like try to get in there more closely, but you know what? It really doesn't matter. Could do is trim back. We'll work trim back the brown. Let me take out those pins. And I'm just going to take off like some of the big chunks. I'm not going to worry about all the little fussy stuff because it's going to get covered over with other pieces. Actually, I should get my bigger shears for that. Alright. And we're just going to rinse and repeat through this whole thing. Alright, folks, I'm talked out today. Thanks everybody who stopped by for this super short show and some basic sewing skills. We'll be back tomorrow with an overambitious skirt project. Don't wait till tomorrow when you can be fabulous today, and don't laugh at others unless you've laughed at yourself. Alright, thanks for hanging out. It was short and sweet. We will run our outro and we will call it a show because that's how I'm feeling. Alright, till tomorrow, folks.